Mr. Mukobizulu. My Lord, there's only one question, my Lord, before I proceed.
That's okay.
So, ma'am, on the 21st of June 2020, did you not visit case number 2 at Bouquet? You, Brigadier Gininda, and Mr. Mapela?
Ngomhla 21 June 2020 uzangumvashele nomsolwa wesibili ePhukeng uhamba noGininda noMabhena.
No, my lord.
Angizange.
Thank you, my Lord. Nothing.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Mr. Mnisi.
Thank you, ma'am. My cross-examination, actually not a cross-examination, just some clarifications here and there. Basically two questions. Basically two questions. It's going to be based exclusively on what you said, on your testimony in chief. Now, be rest assured, your resume, in other words, your work history will never feature in my clarification questions. I'm satisfied. And basically, I'm quite satisfied that in view of your resume, you are a well-experienced officer. Now, I've also noted that there are some contradictions between yourself here and there, between what you said and what Mr. Mohane said in respect of the rights that Mr. Mohane allegedly explained to Mr. Sibiya. That will not also feature in my clarifications. The reason for that is pretty simple. There are other issues in law that are normally referred as de minimis curat non lex. In other words, there are contradictions that are material and immaterial. Do you follow me?
I'm following.
Thank you. Yeah. Now, I heard you say that after you had arrested Mr. Sibiya on the basis of the J50 warrant, that I will also not contest, you had an interview with him regarding those drug charges, and ultimately you also got an opportunity to talk to him about this present case. Not so?
That's correct, my lord.
Thank you, ma'am. And I heard you very well when you said before you could engage him on this case, you kicked off by explaining his rights.
malana naleli cala waqala ngokuthi umchazele amalungelo akhe ngaphansi komthethosisekelo.
Is that what happened?
That's correct, my lord.
Yebo, yilokho kwenzeka.
Thank you. And as you proceeded with your testimony, you also make mention of the fact that each time you were engaging him about this case, you went on to remind him of his rights.
So, musaqhubela phambili umbuza malana nalolu daba njalo nje ungakambuzi umbuzo awuqala ngokuthi umkhumbuze amalungelo akhe kunjalo.
That's correct, my lord.
Yebo kunjalo.
I did a cursory count of the number of times in which you explained his rights at the time at which you had this engagement with him. I think I've counted almost like 3, 4, 5 times. If my counting was proper, and so.
Bengibala nje isikhathi shana ubuloku ukhuluma ngokuthi umnika amalungelo ngibale nje kathathu noma kane. Akunjalo.
Plus minus, my lord.
Yes.
Yebo kungaba kunjalo.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Thank you, ma'am. I take it that in view of the experience that you have as a police officer, that was not for the first time that you had an engagement with a suspect. In other words, it wasn't for the first time that you were interviewing a suspect, not so?
Kwangekona ukuqala ukukhulumisana nomsolwa njengoba sesiphoyiseni kanjalo.
That's correct, my lord.
Yebo kunjalo.
Thank you. What is the purpose of appraising a suspect with the rights that you said you explained to accused number 1?
Yini into sokuthi utshele umsolwa ngamalungelo njengoba utshela umsolwa uqala?
My lord, to make sure, my lord, that accused number 1 understand that, my lord, even though he is an arrested person, my lord, he's still, my lord, entitled to his rights, my lord, because everyone, my lord, is covered by a constitution, my lord, that the rights, my lord, of any person, my lord, must be protected. I did not want him to see himself as if, my lord, he's no longer counted, my lord, amongst the rights, my lord, provided by the constitution.
Bengenzela nje phela ukuthi ke ngimsize njengomuntu oboshiwe ukuthi azi ukuthi usenawo amalungelo acabanga ukuthi aselahliwe amalungelo akhe nokuthi usavikelwe amalungelo akhe.
Thank you. As I understand you, is that even before you begin to speak to him, you need to explain those rights, as you say, that are contained in the Constitution. Am I correct to understand that to mean that basically serves to regularize, in order to legitimize the process of interviewing him?
Yes, my lord.
I'm not so sure if you understood my question. Did you understand my question before you say yes, my lord? Did you understand my question? If you don't understand it, say no, Mr. Mnisi, no. Can you please repeat yourself? I'd be glad to.
My lord, you said that I wanted to make sure that he understand his rights, or to emphasize, my lord, in terms of him, my lord, understanding his rights.
Yeah, I could get from the answer that you just gave that probably you missed a thing or two from my question. My question basically is this: would I be correct to understand you that the reason why you would start off by, or you kick off by explaining a rights to a suspect, those rights that you said are enshrined in the Constitution, In other words, is to legitimize the process of the interview that you're just about to have with him. In other words, to regularize it. Do you now understand it?
I understand, my Lord.
Thank you.
Okay, sizwana ukuthi no lokhu umbuzela ukuthi ke lokho kwenza ukuthi into engizoyibuza ozoyibuza kumsolwa kube into esesemthethweni.
Thank you. Now, in an event that such explanation of the rights does not happen, in your understanding as a member of the South African Police Services, and with the background that you have, what would be the effect of that non-explanation of his rights?
My Lord, can you repeat the question?
I am saying, thank you. I am saying, in an event that the rights that you said you would explain to an accused person that is just about to interview, is not happening. In other words, when those rights have not been explained and you kick off by interviewing him without explaining his rights, what is the effect of that process of not explaining his rights?
My Lord, that process, my Lord, will be illegitimate, my Lord.
Namuthi ke uma kwenzeka ukuthi ke ungamchazeli umsola amalungelo akhe uchaza ukuthini uchaza ukuthi ke lokhu lento ezobe nikhuluma kuzobe kwenzekani ke ngayo ukuthi kuzokwenza ukuthi ingabi semthethweni.
Thank you. I'm noting the term that you're using, a legitimate. In other words, that will be unlawful. Not so?
That's correct, my Lord.
Thank you.
Athi yebo kunjani.
Let's get to the very first time at which you explained the accused number one's right. When I say accused number one, I mean it's B, isn't it? The very first time at which you explained his rights. Let us just try to recap. Where were you when you started to explain his rights?
Oqala ke uchazela umsolwa ngamalungelo akho nani la?
Let me qualify my question. In respect of this case, in respect of the case that we're busy with now.
Sikhuluma ngale licala leli esiphezu kwayo.
Yes. Where were you? Or where did that interview take place?
Na khuluma nini la?
At Vusimuzi Hostel, my Lord, outside.
Vusimuzi Hostel.
Thank you. Were you in a car? Were you seated in were you in a sittable situation? In other words, he was in a chair, there was a table in front of you, and then he started to just explain the circumstances under which those rights were explained.
Achaze ukuthi nani laphi ngesikhathi ke sananisemotweni noma nanihleli phansi noma ukhona indawo la nanihleli khona uhleli esitulweni kunetafula phakathi kwakho naye awuchaze.
My Lord, he was sitting in the car.
Yes.
Wayehleli emotweni?
And I was standing outside, my Lord.
Ngaphandle emoto.
After Lord coming back from making inquiries.
In other
words, my Lord, the window was open. So I engaged with him, my Lord, while I was outside and he was inside the car.
Thank you. Just to complete the picture, let us recap those rights that you explained to him.
I guess
the right to remain, must I say it in Zulu? Because I said the right in Zulu.
I did not get that.
I said, my Lord, you have a right to remain silent.
Yes.
You have a right not to be compelled to make a confession or admission.
ube isona
which could be used as evidence against you.
ngoba lokho kungasetshenziswa ebufakazini obungalethwa buphikisana nawo.
I said, my Lord, you have a right to consult with a legal representative of your choice.
Asho ukuthi ke unemvume unelungelo ukuthi ungakhuluma nommeli oqokwe uwe.
And if you do not have one, the state can provide you with a legal representative at the expense of the state.
Asilethe uma ungenayo ummeli umbuso uzokunika ummeli ongakhokhela.
And I said to him, you have a right not to be compelled to give self-incriminating evidence.
Athi ke unelungelo ukuthi ke ungalethi ubufakazi obungakufaka ecaleni.
Which could be used as evidence against you.
Ngoba lokho kungasetshenziswa ke ekuquleni kwecala lakho.
Thank you, ma'am. And as you were saying, you were explaining that to accused in Zulu, not so. I take it he understood everything that you're explaining to him.
Njengoba ushilo ukuthi wawumkhuluma naye ngolokamthaniya ukuthi wakuzwisisa konke lokwakusho.
Yes, my Lord, and he responded by saying, yebo, ngiyezwa.
Yebo wakuzwisisa konke ngoba wathi bephundela wathi yes, I understand.
Thank you, ma'am. Now you would understand, or let me put it this way. Am I correct to understand that when you explained those rights to him, you ultimately had to inquire from him, what is it that he elects to do after you had rendered that explanation to him, not so?
Anjalo ukuthi uma somnike amalungelo umchazelileke wake asifaneleke umnike ithuba lokuthi akutshele ukuthi uqoke ukwenzani.
Is that not so?
That's correct, my Lord.
Athi yebo kunjani.
Did you tell him that Mr. Sibia, now that I've already explained these rights to you, now you need to tell me, having indicated to me that you understand what I've told you, now you need to tell me, what is it that you choose to do? Did you bring that to his attention?
Wakusho yini kuyena wathi Sodoma njengoba sengichazelileke usuqo kwenzani. Ngamtshela into.
Yes, my Lord.
Yebo ngamtshela.
At what point, man?
Wamtshela nini?
My Lord, after giving him his rights,
Yes.
and then after he said he understood, my Lord,
Yes.
Emva umnika amalungelo akhe eseshilo nokuthi uyazwisisa.
Yes.
he started, my Lord, to make certain admissions.
Waqala ke ukuba avume izinto ezithize.
And my Lord,
I'm not saying narrate a story, ma'am. I'm not saying narrate a story. I'm aware of that technique. Don't narrate a story. Pertinent question is, at what point did you say to him, Mr. Sibia, now you have to tell me what your choice is?
Angifuni ke uphinde futhi.
This one, the witness is trying to give a sequence of events. It's not normal, just to give a context to the answer.
At what point, ma'am,
my
did
Lord,
you explain, did you bring this to his attention that Mr. Sibia, now you've got to tell me what your choice is?
Manje wambuza nini ke ukuthi ke manje ke babusibiya njengoba sengichazelileke amalungelo usuqoka ukwenzani ke manje?
my Lord, the council is actually blocking me because I was trying to, he's asking at which point. So I was trying to take you through so that you can understand at which point.
I'm not blocking you, ma'am. I'm only trying you
So that there's
to give a narrative. I'm not saying give a narrative.
Mnisi,
If I want you
please,
to explain, I'll say to you explain. But when I say a point, can you please tell me it was at this point?
Mr. Mnisi,
As it is
you
a
can't
point.
prescribe to the witness how to answer. just give you a chance.
Thank you, my lord. You can narrate. It's
Maqhubeke.
fine.
My Lord, I gave him his rights.
Yes,
Ngamnika amalungelo akhe.
He said he understood.
Wathi uyezwa.
yes.
He started, my Lord, to make admissions.
I'm sorry,
Wakhona
madam.
izinto
I'm
ezamukelayo.
sorry. I'm sorry, madam. Sometimes I'm missing this witness what he's saying. I'm thinking I may be too far from here because there's an echo that is yeah. So it distracts my hearing ability. I'm not so sure whether I could be given indulgence that just to come nearer there. So that I can be very close to the witness as she speaks, then I'm able to capture everything that she's saying. Thank you, my lord, for the indulgence. Thank you, ma'am.
My Lord, as I'm
You
saying
can
that,
narrate.
my Lord, gave him his rights.
Ngamnika amalungelo akhe.
And my Lord, he said he understood.
Wasethi uyezwisisa.
And my Lord started to tell me, my Lord, about his knowledge or involvement in this case.
Waseke yangitshela ke ngolwazi lwakhe nokuthi yena uthi into engakanani ke kulolu daba.
I stopped him, my Lord, as he continued
Ngase ngiyamisa ke saloku eqhubeka.
and told him, my Lord, that he, to reiterate, my Lord, to say he is not compelled to make any admissions or confession, my Lord.
Ngase ngiyamisa ngitshela ukuthi akaphoqelekile ukuthi amukele izinto ezithize.
And that, my Lord, he can ask, my Lord, or consult, my Lord, his lawyer.
Ukuthi ke angathintana nommeli wakhe.
Or, my Lord, a lawyer can be provided, my Lord, at the state expense.
Nokuthi ke ummeli anganikwa yena ukukhokha umbuso.
And, my Lord, he said, akawudingi ummeli, my Lord, in Zulu.
And then he said in wasike ngesizulu, I do not need a lawyer.
In fact, my Lord, in Zulu, he said, okwamanje angimdingi ummeli.
And wasethi ke ngesi ngolukamthaniya, right now I do not need a lawyer.
That's why, my Lord, I further asked him, why are you telling me this now?
Ngase ngambuza ukuthi yini indaba ungitshela lokhu manje.
He even asked me, what did I mean by that, my Lord?
Ngase ngambuza ukuthi ngikaze ukuthini manje ngisho lokho.
And I told him, my Lord, that you saw people were wrongfully arrested,
Ngithi uyabona ukuthi khona abantu ababoshwa ngungekho
and the
emthethweni.
case, my Lord, was still unsolved.
Yazi futhi ukuthi khona leli cala leli alikakapheli.
Why didn't you come forward and tell the police that, like what you are telling me?
Ngathi yini indaba ungezanga wazotshela amaphoyisa ukuthi nakho lokhu engikwazi njengoba ungitshela manje.
And my Lord, he said he knew that one day he has to take a responsibility, my Lord, for the murder of Sensomayiwa.
Ngathi ke hayi uyazi ukuthi ngelinye ilanga kufanele ngizoziphendulela mayelana nokushona kwasese.
You would know, ma'am. You would know that certain information that you're now narrating to this court is totally inadmissible. That's the reason why I said to you, give me the point at which you explain to him that Mr. Sibiya what your choice is. And out of respect of the court, when the court said I should allow you to narrate, and then said go on and narrate, and I knew that it will come to this information that is totally inadmissible at this stage of the trial.
Yeah.
And I know you will be explaining the whole day. All that I want is, at what point did you say to him, Mr. Sibiya, what is your choice?
My Lord, but I just take you through, my Lord.
Ma'am, at what point did you say to Mr. Sibiya, what is your choice
Why?
of the right that I've explained to you?
While he was making admissions.
Mesa
Thank you.
ngikwazi ukuthi ngitshele lokho ngesikhathi ke amukele umthisi.
Thank you. That's the simple answer that I was expecting from you.
Cha, yena impendulo elungile bengifuna kuwena.
You are saying to this court, the point at which you brought to Mr. Sibiya's attention that he should exercise his choice was at a point at which he had already started to make admissions. Do I understand you to say that?
Manje mayikususaka kahle ukuthi yena wamnika ithuba lokuthi akhethe ukuthi ufuna ukwenzani ngesikhathi usubona ukuthi khona izinto aqala ukuzamukela.
Do I understand you to mean that?
That's correct, my
Thank
lord.
you.
Athi yebo kunjani.
Why did you have to wait, ma'am, to bring it to his attention the fact that, why did you have to wait up until he starts to make certain admissions to you before you could bring the fact that he has got a choice? He's got to make a choice on the rights that you have explained to him.
Yini akazi ukuthi ulinde aze aqale ukuthi amukele izinto ezithize ukuthi wena umtshele ukuthi hayi phela ufanele uqoqa ukuthi ufuna ukuthini mayelana namalungelo akho.
My lord, if you give a person his rights, my lord, that on its own, my lord, it's a choice. If I tell him that you have a right to consult with your legal representative of your choice, and if you do not have one, the state can provide you with a legal representative at the state expense. That
Thank
is,
you.
on its own, my lord, is an option.
Manje uma umtshela umuntu ilungelo lakhe lokho kuyithu umnika ithuba lokuthi akhethe.
When you say to a person, you've got a right to a legal representation, you've got a right to an attorney of your own choice. If you don't have money, then the state can come to your assistance. Is that a choice?
Manje lokho kumnika umuntu ithuba lokuthi akhethe umtshela ukuthi unomthuba lokuthi uyozifunela ummeli mengenayo ummeli ayo acela ukuthi ukuthi anike ummeli ongakhokhela.
Yes, my lord, it's a choice.
Yebo kuqoka lokho.
Let us make it simple.
Asikwenze lokhu kube lula.
Why immediately after you had brought to his attention those rights that you said you explained to him? Look, I don't dispute that you explained those rights to him.
Angiphikisi ukuthi wamchazela lamalungelo.
I don't have facts on which I can base my argument that you did not explain those rights. But what I've said initially is that I'll be basing my clarification, remember it's not a cross-examination, just a clarification, on exclusively what you said in your evidence.
Khumbula ukuthi lokho akona ukuze umbuzo kodwa-ke ukuthi nje ngidinga ukuthi ungicacisele okuthile ngigqile phela kulokhu ongitshele kona.
Thank you. Now the question is, immediately after you had explained his rights to him, the manner in which you did, why did you not bring it to his attention that Mr. Sibiya, now that I've explained these rights to you and you say you understand them, what do you then choose? Do you want a lawyer that you would that you will pay out of your own pocket, or do you want the state to assist you with a lawyer? Before we even begin with this interview,
Yini ungamtshela ukuthi njengoba sekuchazeleke amalungelo akho ke manje ke kufanele ke ungitshele ukuthi qokwenzani uyamdinga yini ummeli noma uyakudinga yini ukuthi kube nomuntu ozokusiza singakaqali ukuthi sikhulume.
My lord,
yes,
I did explain, my lord, his. I did explain the rights, my lord, to accused number one.
I've said,
And my lord,
I have said that is not in dispute. I don't have facts on which to dispute the facts that you had explained his rights. The question is, why even before you started to embark on the interview, immediately after you had explained those rights that I can't dispute that you explained them, bring it to his attention that what do you choose, Mr. Sibia?
Angibhekisa ukuthi amalungelo vele wamtshela futhi ayikho into engenza ukuthi ngithi mhlambe ngingafika la sizodayisana inkani ukuthi wamtshela noma umtshelanga yena akuphikisi lokho into engifuna ukuyazi ukuthi ngemva kokuthi umtshele ngamalungelo akho yini indaba ongamtshelanga ukuthi hayi phela qoka ukuthi ufuna ukwenzani.
My Lord, when he said he does not need a lawyer, that was the end, my Lord. If someone says, I do not need a lawyer, do you have now to say, no, choose if you want the one of your choice or the state to provide you with one? Already, my Lord, he has answered, okwamanje angidingi lawyer.
Waphendula wathi hayi cha ngidingi ummeli njengoba eseshilo ukuthi angidingi ummeli engasekho isidingo sokuthi ngimbuze ukuthi hayi manje ke awufunile ummeli ongakhokhela ngoba esephendulile wathi okwamanje angimdingi ummeli.
Thank you. Now, is it correct that when you're explaining the type of rights that you said you explained to the accused person, you never told this court that after I had explained his rights, accused person elected to proceed to make a statement, and I then said to him, look, you're not compelled to make a statement. In other words, you brought the issue of a choice to him. Am I correct to say that that is coming for the first time now in this I don't want to say a cross-examination, but in this certification process? Is it correct?
My Lord, he
As
said
the
he
court pleases, my
understood.
Lord, before the witness answers. It is not for this witness. She's not taking down a statement. She's merely apprising the accused of his rights, and a process, as she explained, would follow later where a formal statement is taken. That's where an accused must now indicate what his election is. We submit that that's an unfair question because she was not taking down a statement from the accused.
Now, but wait. I just want to understand from you. Is there a standard procedure or process as to how a person has to explain the rights?
Is it please the court, my Lord?
Hello? Is there? Because I'm aware of 120 plus decisions where the process is not uniform. You see this witness, for instance.
Yes.
He says when he started making admissions,
Yes.
she preempted him from doing so. I would say I advised him, you still have to make a choice.
Yes.
She uses the word, I preempted him to do
Yes.
so. And then she continues and says, she engages him, why do you come now? You know that persons have been arrested in connection with this matter. It's not like it's a...
Yes, madam. The reason why I'm standing up, madam, after my colleague has raised what he raised, I'm standing up just to understand what is the basis of the objection, madam. Because he starts to
Fine.
I don't know what the basis of the objection is. Because I am unable to respond to something that I do not understand. My colleague stands up and says, no, this witness was actually doing this. It's an explanation.
Yes, okay,
What is the
okay.
basis of the objection? Is that an unfair question? Am I badgering the witness? That is irregular, is out of context, it is irrelevant, and all those factors. I don't know what the basis of the objection is, my lord.
And I
With
just
the
read the
permission of the
decision. Let
court,
me
my
tell
lord,
you.
I will give him another
I read a
opportunity.
decision just not too long ago,
Yes, my lord.
where it says there is no duty upon a person who is explaining the rights of an accused
Yes, my lord.
to lecture that person
Yes, my lord.
on the content
Yes.
of the right, as you want from this week. Other decisions say the opposite. You know that.
My lord, my understanding is I am actually not assuming or suggesting that this witness should have lectured Mr. Sibia about his rights. As I'm saying, my lord, I don't even dispute the fact that he explained his rights. But
Okay.
the core of my clarification And I wish the court to understand that it's not a cross-examination.
No, I
It's
understand
just a
very
clarification. The core of my clarification is, at what point did he then bring it to the attention of Mr. Sibiya after she has explained that Mr. Sibiya has got those particular rights, that Mr. Sibiya has got a choice that she can make in respect of the rights that have been explained? She says, well, at the moment at which Mr. Sibiya has started to make certain admissions and everything, now, another core of my question is, why did she not immediately say it immediately after she had explained the rights to Mr. Sibiya, that Mr. Sibiya, even before we begin with the interview, you got to make a choice, buddy. You got to tell me whether even before this interview begins, we are going to want a lawyer to be present as I interview you in respect of this case. A lawyer that you're going to pay out of your own pocket. Or you are going to request me to assist you with a lawyer that the state is going to pay on your behalf. Or you yourself want to continue on your own in the presence of nobody, no lawyer. This witness does not say that, my lord.
Yes, any other thing, Mr.
Thank you, my lord. Now I need to roll back a bit, my lord, and actually try to get back to where I was, because I was a bit derailed, my lord. So I'm going to request to be patient with me. Now you say, man, the fact that you had explained to the accused that he's got a right to illegal representation and attorney, which she could have had in various ways on its own, that was a choice. That's your testimony.
That's correct, madam.
So you did not deem it necessary that immediately after you had appraised him of his rights, that you should immediately bring it to his attention that needed to exercise his choice.
My lord, when a person say, I understand, my lord, I mean, my lord, that covers everything.
So that covers also the fact that I understand that I can have a lawyer on my own, I can have a lawyer that the state is going to pay for me. It also covers that.
It covers that, my lord.
Thank you, ma'am. I've said to you I've got only 2 questions. That was just my first question. But just to close my first question, we have initially said when we started here, right, that a failure to explain a suspect's rights in the constitutional context that amounts to an irregularity. And I'm going to put it to you that what you did on that day, when you started to quiz accused number 1 about the content of this case without having heard, appraised him of the choice that she had, that was a fatal irregularity.
My lord,
Yes.
the rights, my lord, were explained to the accused.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Now, you have said that on a number of occasions, actually we have agreed. Now this is my second question, the last one. Now you have said, ma'am, that on the basis of the experience that you had. We had actually agreed that on the basis of the experience that you have, this was not the first time that you had to interview a suspect. So,
uthe wena wanguvona okokuqala ukhulumisana no
that's so.
That's correct, my lord.
Thank you.
kunjani?
There's a document that I'm going to show you, that SAPS 3M. The first M is a capital letter M, and the next M is an M that is rated in brackets. I've requested that some documents should be prepared in this regard. I'm going to show you these documents because my next question is going to be based on these documents. Thank you. On the face of it, you are familiar with that document, that's all.
Asithi-ke nje masibheka uyayazi lo paper letter.
That's correct, my lord.
Yebo, ngiyalazi.
Yeah, let me immediately bring it to your attention that on top there is written, when you see in parentheses, it's also written there, this is what I have done. Those are just my inscription because that document was prepared on the document that I have. But nothing untoward is contained in this document. All are clean copies. I'll be asking you on the content of the clean copies. Do you understand? Don't worry about that thing there that's written in Mnisi is me. Don't also worry about this is what I have done. That is also... Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Thank you. With the leave of court, my lord, the state is just assisting us with a very clean copy. Thank you, ma'am. You just said, on the basis of your experience, you're familiar with this document. That's all.
That's correct, my lord.
Thank you. Will I be correct, ma'am, to say that this document is an instruction that is directed to the investigating officers on how to interview a suspect?
So ngikhuluma iqiniso yini uma ngithi leli pheshana leli nikwa abaphenyi ukuthi bafanele phephenye ngayiphi indlela uma bekhuluma nabasolo.
That's correct, my lord.
Yebo kunjani?
Thank you. Just to confirm that does not come from me. If you can page through, you can go to the next page. Yeah, it is written there. There's a police insignia there, and insignia is what we colloquially known as an emblem. Insignia. Thank you. And beneath it is written South African Police Service. Beneath that it is written instructions. Beneath that it is written statement regarding interview with the suspect. Do you follow?
I do follow, my lord.
And did I understand you to mean that you're familiar with this document? So,
that's correct, my lord.
now the very first paragraph, I know it was contentious some time ago, but this is law. These are instructions that are directed to investigating officers. And those instructions, the very first instruction says, number one, completion of a statement. It says paragraph A. I won't read everything. No, rest assured. Number one says, paragraph A, the station commander must consult with the prosecutor on circumstances in which the prosecutor requires that a warning statement of a suspect be obtained. In every such case, the suspect must be interviewed. In every such case, the suspect must be interviewed and this statement must be completed this statement must be completed every time the suspect is interviewed, irrespective of whether the suspect has been arrested or not. Do you follow?
But you're glad I look.
I follow, my lord.
You're glad.
Do you understand what is contained here? When it says every time that a suspect is to be interviewed, this document must be completed.
Sisa lokusho lapho kuthiwa lezi zonke ikhathi uma umsola kuzokhulunywa naye kufanele kugcwaliswe leli le.
I can see, my lord, there's an objection that is coming. Thank you.
As a court case, my lord, we've been through this process. When Advocate Mshololo was cross-examining Sergeant Mukhani on this very document, my lord, we indicated at the time that this document is meant for an exigency where a statement is taken from a suspect. One can, for instance, think of a situation where a police officer stops a person who's got a suspicious object in his possession, perhaps a laptop or something, and he asks him, but where do you get the laptop? And he says, I bought the laptop from X. Now the policeman says, well, let's go and verify that. It can hardly be argued that in that situation, this form must be completed. It's just preliminary inquiry to verify what the accused is saying, and that's precisely what this witness did. We indicated, my lord, at the time when Advocate Mshololo wanted to use the document, that even the judge's rule referred to a statement, the taking down of a statement, and this is not what this witness was doing, my lord. We submit that, therefore, the questioning on this form is irrelevant.
Yeah, Mr.
Yes,
Mnisi,
ma'am.
this witness,
Yes.
did she take a statement from accused number 2?
My lord,
When-
this form says.
No, I'm not talking about the form.
Okay.
I'm talking about the law. Did she take a statement from accused number 2? Because as I understand it, she says when Mr. Tansi started making admissions.
Mr. Sibia.
Sibia,
I'm
yeah.
not talking about
Sibia,
Mr. Ganzi.
sorry about that, Sibia.
Yes.
When accused number 1 started making admissions,
Yes.
she preempted the process. And she says, subsequently, I reported to Colonel Gininda
Yes.
that accused number 1 wants to make a statement.
Yes, my lord.
And Gininda said, okay, wait for me at Fosluras, is it?
Yes, my lord.
Wait for me at Fosluras. And Gininda came and interviewed accused number 1. So this witness, she just exercised a limited interview with Mr. Sibia.
Thank you.
The person who actually conducted a full interview is her senior, Gininda, who actually, I don't know if it was lawful or not, but after that, Gininda said he would arrange for accused number 1 to make a confession, for somebody to take his confession. That's how I understand the evidence. So this rigmarole about her not having advised Mr. Sibia of his rights, etc., etc., etc. It doesn't percolate into her taking a statement. She never took a statement.
My lord, I'm mindful of the word that the court has used. That which I'm doing here is now a rigmarole. I'm very mindful of that parlance. But nonetheless, my lord, I'm not suggesting that this document says a statement. This document, my lord, it's very clear. It says this statement must be completed. In other words, this document must be completed every time the suspect is interviewed.
It
And you yourself,
says
my lord.
what? It says the statement or it says the document?
My lord, it says this statement.
Right, not document. There's a world of difference between a statement and a document. This document, this statement, she never took a statement. That's how I understand it.
My Lord, if this document says, this statement, if it is not this document that is being referred to, what else is being referred to?
Because
in
that
the
one,
context of this.
Sorry, yeah, I understand you, Mr. Mnisi.
Yes,
but that document says there must be a station commander present. That document. And the senior public, does it say that, Mr. Baloyi?
Indeed, my
And
lord.
a senior public prosecutor. Now, they are at Vusumuzi Hostel. Accused number 1 is seated in a motor vehicle. The window is open. She is apprising accused number 1 of her rights. There is no senior prosecutor there.
Yes, ma'am.
There is no station commander there.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
May I be allowed to
No, you're
complete my
allowed.
cross-examination?
Yeah, you're allowed. You're allowed.
Is it correct, ma'am, that these instructions, which in the context of what you were doing, were also law, you did not comply with them because you did not complete this document?
Ngeke lemiyalelo lo phela kwakuwumthetho kodwa ke wena awuzange uyigcwalise.
My Lord, I am not only, how can I put it? Okay, my Lord, according to, let me first put it like this. According to this document, my Lord, it says, this statement must be completed every time the suspect is interviewed,
Yes.
irrespective of whether the suspect has been arrested or not.
Yes.
So, my Lord, this is an instruction to say this document, but there is nowhere where they say the police must not interview the suspect without this document.
No. That is very lame. That is exactly what is known as a rigmarole rule. That's very lame. But nonetheless, thank you, ma'am. The question is it correct that at the inception of the interview that you had with accused number 1, you did not complete this document as per instructions in this document?
Kwilo iqiniso yini ukuthi eqaleni wakhuluma nomsolo oqala uzange ligcwalise le document lena?
My
Njengoba kushiwo kumyalelo yayi le document.
Yes or no?
My Lord, it was not necessary for me, my Lord, to complete this document, my Lord. Because anyway, my Lord, even if
Sorry, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am.
Can I explain?
Sorry, ma'am.
No, I need to explain.
I've indicated to you that if you need to explain, I'm going to say, or I'm going to request, can you please explain this? Now the question is simple. Unless you want me to retract everything that I've said about your resume, that I don't have any doubts about it. The question is simple. The question is it correct that at the inception of the interview that you had with accused number 1, Mr. Sibia, you did not complete this form? Yes or no?
Ngifuna uyebo noma cha ungayithi eqaleni ukuthi uqala ukukhulumisana nomsolo oqala azange uyigcwalise le document.
As you could please, my lord. The witness said it was not necessary to complete the form. She's trying to explain. Now my learned friend stops her. Can she be allowed to explain?
My Lord, can I explain? My Lord, even if I was having this form
Yes.
and completing it, my Lord, with the suspect, upon realizing that he is making admissions, I was not going to continue with the completing this form, my Lord, because an officer needs to be the one who takes over when a person makes admissions.
Ukuthi umuntu khona izinto afuna ukuzamukela angikwazi ukuqhubeka ngalento ngifanele ngime khona lapho ngoba kufanele ukubeke nomuntu oseqophelweni eliphezulu ukuthi abe khona uma ukuthi kufanele ngiqhubeke ugcwalise le document.
Thank you, ma'am. Now the next page. Let's go to the next page. There is also an insignia there. Next to the insignia, it is written station and CR case number and all those things. Now, below that is written South African Police Service. It also repeats the very same wording, statement regarding interview with the suspect. Do you see that?
I see that, my lord.
Now, another instructions. Another instructions to investigating officers, not to captains or people who are holding commission ranks, but to investigating officers. That instruction says, this form, now it says this form, not statement or document. This form must be completed every time a suspect is questioned, irrespective of whether the suspect is in detention after an arrest or not. Where any space provided on the form is insufficient, to continue on the folio and attach the folio to that page. Folios must be signed by the suspect, interpreter, deponent, and a commissioner of oath. But what I want us, not that these other parts of the statement are not necessary or irrelevant, but the gist of my second question is, it now says, this form must be completed every time a suspect is questioned, irrespective of whether the suspect is in detention after an arrest or not. Is that not an instruction, ma'am, that is directed to an investigating officer who is about to interview a suspect who is in detention or not? Is that not the case?
My lord, I still say that it was not necessary for me, my lord, to complete this form.
Thank you. Yes. I take it. It will no longer be necessary for me to go through this form as per the instructions on what is it that you need to do when you are interviewing or questioning a suspect who is in detention after an arrest or not. Because this form is self-explanatory. I said, this is my second question. Let me finally put it to you. That your failure to comply with these so succinct instructions as contained in this document, which you yourself have said you are aware of this document, the day on which you had an interview which accused number 3 was not only an irregularity, it was a fatal one. Thank you, Malot. I've got no further questions. Thank you.
Yeah. Any answer?
My lord, I still say, me questioning my lord, accused number 1 was not limited, my lord, based on this form.
Okay. That document, and this is not a hard and fast rule or finding which I made. That document talks about an interview.
Let me immediately assist the court in
Yeah,
this.
it talks about an interview. I listened. This witness was not conducting an interview.
Let me immediately assist the court.
Wait. She was apprising an accused arrested person of his rights.
That is so.
An interview presupposes this lady seated with Mr. Mgomezulu
Yes.
in an office.
Yes.
That's why they talk about
Yes.
a station commander.
Yes.
That's why they talk about a public prosecutor.
Yes.
You heard me. Okay.
Yes. My understanding,
No, I'm not arguing.
Oh.
That's how I see it. Fine.
May I
No.
kindly request an indulgence just to clarify?
No. That's how I see the law. You can address it subsequently. There's no problem. We're not going to argue about this.
Thank you, my lord.
Okay.
Because I was just about to say, my lord, that
Sir,
subsequent to
Sir, let's not argue about this.
executions the court. Thank you.
That's why I say I'm not even making a finding. I'm just telling you
Thank you,
my preliminary view.
Thank you.
Debo, Mr. Mumalo.
Thank you, my lord. I don't have questions to
Okay.
this witness. Thank you.
Mrs. Mwan?
As it pleases the court, my lord, we have just few questions of clarity.
Okay.
Yes. Madam, we have just few questions of clarity.
Anginembuzo nyana engifuna ukuthi ngithole incazelo ngayo.
Madam, when you arrived in Phuket, where did you say you went to?
Mama nifika ke Phukeng uthe nayaphi?
We started at Phukeng police station,
Saqala sayisikhumulweni samaphoyisa sasePhukeng.
and then we went to where accused number 2 was staying.
Sase siya ke la kwahlala khona umsulwa.
You said when you arrived at Phuket police station, you found accused number 2, Sergeant Mokhane and Sergeant Mabena. Is that correct?
Uthe uma nifika police station nathola umsolo no Sergeant Mukhane no Sergeant Mabela unjalo?
That's correct, my lord.
Yebo unjalo.
And you further said you were escorted from Phuket police station to the residence of accused number 2. Do you remember that?
Ngapheleza ukusuka station samaphoyisa sasePhukeng neya la ehlala khona umsolo sibili unjalo?
That's correct, my lord.
Yebo unjalo.
Madam, are you 100% sure about that evidence?
Unesiqiniseko esiphelele ngalokho?
That's correct, my lord.
Yebo unjalo.
And as you said before, you are prepared to put your head in the block to be chopped.
Njengoba ushilo uthe ungazikhethela ukuthi uvele ugenxe ikhanda.
That's correct, my lord.
Yebo unjalo.
She's never heard of Mary Antoinette.
That's what she said, madam.
Okay.
Madam, if I tell you now that Sergeant Mokhane said when they arrived at Phuket, they never went to Phuket police station.
Mangathi ke Sergeant Mukhane wena uthe uma nifika ePhukeng angisayi niye esikhumulweni samaphoyisa.
My lord, we arrived at Phukeng police station, my lord.
Safika esikhumulweni samaphoyisa sasePhukeng.
Brigadier Kininda arranged that a vehicle, my lord, must escort us, my lord, to the place of accused number 2.
Brigadier Kininda waselungisa ukuthi kube nemoto ezosiphelezela kusuka ePhukeng police station.
So I-
la kuhlala khona umsolo sibili.
So, my lord, I know for a fact, my lord, that as we went to the residence of accused number 2, my lord, we were following each other, my lord, with a marked vehicle from Phukeng police station.
Sase kusuka la police station sasihamba nemoto enembala yesiphoyisa silandelana uma siya la kuhlala khona umsolo.
Madam, this is not what Sergeant Mokhane is saying. Sergeant Mokhane said when they arrived in Phuket, they actually went straight to the residence of accused number 2. And only you and Brigadier Kininda went to the went to Phuket police station. That is what he said.
Sergeant Mukhane uthi yena bathu babefika baya la kuhlala khona umsolo oba wena kuphela noBrigadier Kininda naya epolice station unjalo.
Maybe, my lord, the council can maybe tell my lord of the dates, because there were times when Mokhane went.
That is the 19th of June 2020.
Sikhuluma ngomhla 19 June 2020.
On the 19th of June, my lord, 2020, we arrived at Phukeng police station, my lord, found Sergeant Mokhane and Mabena, my lord, and then we, and Phukeng police station, my lord, assisted us, my lord, in terms of escorting us, my lord, to the resident of accused number 2.
Umhla 19 June 2020 safika lapha police station sathola Sergeant Mukhane noMabena, and then Emva kwalokho-ke kwasekulungiswa-ke abangasiphelezela ukuya la kuhlala khona umsolo.
Therefore, my lord, we departed from Phokeng police station to the resident of accused number 2.
Loko kuchaza ukuthi sasuka la police station siya la kuhlala khona umsolo sibili.
Madam, let me also tell you that Sergeant Mokhane also produced an AVL report that also confirmed his own version that according to them, or according to that AVL report, they never went to Phokeng police station. They actually went straight to the residence of accused number 2.
Sergeant Mokhane waveza i-AVL ekhombisayo ukuthi vele futhi yayimsekela ekutheni abazange baqala ukuya police station kodwa baqala ukuya la kuhlala khona umsolo wesibili.
My lord.
Sorry, I don't think you listened to Makhane's evidence. Makhane's evidence was, it is practice for police when they enter a different jurisdiction from theirs to go and announce their presence there and even ask for escortment because we are not familiar with the area. That's Makhane's evidence.
My lord,
Sorry, did you hear him say that?
My lord, I maintain that
Okay,
that
fine.
is what he said. We can go to the records, my lord. I know for sure.
Okay. Fine.
That is what he said. To that effect, my lord, he at that stage he was even leading evidence based on the AVL
Okay,
report
fine. All right.
that actually showed the address of accused number 2.
Okay. Yes, what's your answer, ma'am?
My lord, I still maintain that we found them at the police station, my lord, and departed from there to where accused number 2 was staying, my lord, together with the police van, my lord, from Phokeng police station.
Saphinda futhi ukuthi sabathola police station base sisuka-ke sihamba siya la kuhlala khona umsolo siphelezela iveni yamaphoyisa yasePhokeng.
Madam, I will leave that for argument, but I will put it to you that if the version of Sergeant Mokhane and the AVL reports are correct, then it will mean that your testimony about what happened at the residence of accused number 2 will be incorrect because you will not be present when it happened.
As a court, please, my lord, that is not correct. That is not correct, my lord. The proposition that is being put to the witness, I think Sergeant Mokhane's evidence was that they waited for the patrol vehicle.
Okay, continue with your assertion.
No, my lord. If that is being admitted, then it's fine because
No, Mr. Baloyi is saying you're not correct. Now I'm saying because you believe you're correct, continue with your assertion.
Yes, Madam, what I was putting to you is that if the evidence of Sergeant Mokhane and the AVL report are correct, that they were the first ones who went to the resident of accused number 2, while you and Brigadier Gininda went to Phokeng police station. Then what happened at the residence of accused number 2 happens in your absence. Therefore, you cannot testify about it.
And ukuthi okusho uSergeant Mokhane ukuthi baqala baya le komsolo nina naya e-police station ngayo kusho ukuthi wena ukwazi ukwenzeka lapha endlini yomsolwa ngoba nani ngekho lapha.
My lord, I still maintain that I was there. We departed, my lord, from Phokeng police station. Sergeant Mabena Mokhane, accused number 2, my lord. Myself, Brigadier Gininda, my lord, and the police van, my lord, from Phokeng police station. We departed together, my lord, from that point, my lord, to the residence of accused number 2.
Angigcizelela ukuthi sahlangana e-police station esasuka la police station saba neveni eyasiphelezela yasisa la yokuhlala khona umsola we speak.
My Lord, I will leave that for argument.
Okay.
Thank you, my Lord. I have no further
Right.
questions.
Are you going to conduct 3 examinations?
My learned friend was suggesting that we should let that stand down until tomorrow. We can
Is
do
that
that
so?
tomorrow.
It's just one question. I know I don't have to ask it now. Police women, what type of shoes do they put on? It's not a sexist question.
The shoes, my lord, in
Yeah.
uniform.
Yeah, the uniform.
My lord, boots.
Boots.
They put, yes, as well as the platform, my lord, when you wear your formal wear.
And when you're going on an investigation, what type of shoes do you put on?
My lord, like myself, I don't wear uniform. So if I go out on investigation, my lord, it depends, my lord. Whether it's, if you go to Msinga, my lord, I'll wear my techies. If my lord, it's gonna be in the office, my lord, I'll just wear my formal.
Okay.
Njengoba ney'cathulo ezigqokwa amaphoyisa sathi khona amabhuti khona nama-platform shoes kusho ukuthi-ke uma ngisophenyeni njengoba ngayigqoki-ke i-uniform mhlawumbe ngayigqokela amateki kodwa-ke njengoba sesi-MC ngangigqokela amateki kodwa-ke uma kuvuthi-ke ngise-office gqoka iy'cathulo formal eze-platform.
Okay, thank you.
Siyabonga.
Yebo. Why are you surprised, Mr.
I'm just thinking to myself, my lord.
If you are bright, you got what I'm going to. Did you get it?
I didn't get it,
Okay.
but I am bright.
You can't have it both ways. Yes, Mr.
Can we then adjourn until tomorrow?
Are you available tomorrow?
Yes, my lord, I'm
Okay, tomorrow.
all right.